Welcome back to Nature's Harmony, your go-to podcast for all things herbal, natural, and wildcrafted. I'm Mia, your resident science nerd who loves digging into the research behind traditional plant remedies.
And I'm Tyler, the guy who learned about plants from every wise herbalist I've met along the way. I believe in the wisdom of nature, passed down through generations.
Before we dive in, we have to remind everyone, neither of us are doctors. We're passionate herbalists. But if you're making changes to your health routine, always do your own research and consult a professional.
Absolutely. Respect the plants, respect your body, and let's get into today's topic. Pines!
Pines are everywhere. You see them in forests, in parks, even in backyards. But did you know they are also an incredible source of food and medicine?
Oh yes, pines are like the quiet herbal allies of the forest. You walk by them every day, but they're packed with benefits. Mia, do you have a favorite way to use pine?
I love making pine needle tea. It's rich in vitamin C. People often think of oranges when they think of vitamin C, but you probably need to eat an entire orchard to get enough of it from oranges. On the other hand, pine needles are absolutely packed with vitamin C. You just need to know how to extract it. I gather fresh, green young pine needles, chop them into smaller pieces to release more of their oils, and then pour boiling water over them in a glass jar or mug. I make sure to cover it with a lid or small plate to keep the essential oils from escaping with the steam. I let it steep for at least 15 minutes before drinking. It has this fresh, citrusy, slightly resinous taste. What about you?
Pine needle tea is a classic. But I have to say, I'm a big fan of pine resin. It's nature's Band-Aid. My grandfather used to gather hardened pine sap, warm it slightly, and use it as a wound sealant. It's antimicrobial and helps cuts heal faster.
That's fascinating. And it's backed by science. Resin contains terpenes, which have antibacterial properties. It's amazing how tradition and science line up. But for people foraging pines, let's talk about identification. Not all pines are safe, right?
Right. Most true pines, like white pine, Pinus strobus, and Scots pine, Pinus sylvestris, are great for tea and other remedies, but avoid yew trees. They look like pines, but they're toxic.
A good rule of thumb is to check the needles. True pines have needles in clusters of 2, 3, or 5. Yew has flat, single needles and red berries. Stay away from those. You can also identify pine trees by their cones. Pine cones vary in shape and size depending on the species. Some are small and rounded, while others are long and cylindrical.
Let's talk about pine pollen. Pine pollen is harvested in the spring when the male cones release their fine yellow powder. It's best to collect pollen by shaking the male cones into a bag early in the morning when pollen release is at its peak. Pine pollen is incredibly nutrient-dense, packed with amino acids, vitamins like A, B complex, C, D, and E, and minerals such as magnesium and zinc. It's considered an adaptogen, helping balance hormones, particularly testosterone, and providing an energy boost. Pine pollen is also used to combat fatigue, support brain health, and even improve endurance.
That's right. But if you have allergies, be careful, as pine pollen can be a strong allergen. If you're new to it, start with small amounts to see how your body reacts.
And let's not forget pine nuts. These little seeds, hidden inside pine cones, are packed with protein and healthy fats. Harvesting them requires patience. You need to collect mature pine cones, let them dry, and shake the nuts loose. Some people roast them to bring out their flavor, and they make an excellent addition to pesto or trail mixes.
Pine nuts contain heart-healthy monounsaturated fats, which help reduce LDL cholesterol and support cardiovascular function. They are also rich in magnesium, which plays a crucial role in maintaining a healthy nervous system and bone density. And they're excellent for weight management. Pine nuts contain pinolenic acid, which has been shown to suppress appetite by increasing the release of hormones that signal fullness. Eating pine nuts before meals can naturally help control hunger and calorie intake.
That's an important point. And pine nuts are also fantastic for boosting energy. Thanks to their high levels of iron, magnesium, and protein, they provide a steady source of energy throughout the day. In survival situations, just a handful of pine nuts can sustain you for hours.
And pine cones and branches aren't just useful for food and medicine, they make excellent natural fire starters. Pine cones are full of oils that help them burn well, making them great for lighting a barbecue or campfire without needing unhealthy chemical products. The needles, bark, and branches also catch fire quickly and can help sustain a good flame.
That's a great point. So not only are pines useful in the kitchen and apothecary, but they're also a fantastic resource for outdoor survival and preparedness.
That's incredible. Pines really are one of nature's best-kept secrets. So let's sum it up. Pine needles for tea, resin for wound care, bark for circulation, pollen for energy and hormonal balance, pine nuts for food and heart health, young pine cones for syrup, and even using pine cones as fire starters. Pines are truly multi-purpose. But as always, be responsible, research before you forage, and start with small amounts to see how your body reacts.
Well said, Mia. So listeners, what are your favorite ways to use pine? Let us know. And if you loved what you've heard, don't forget to like. It helps us a lot.
As always, for those of you who prefer to have your pine products delivered to your home, check the description below for affiliated links to some recommended products. And don't forget to subscribe for more episodes of Nature's Harmony. Next time, we're diving into another amazing plant. Stay tuned!